from different places, we all have different names. No matter what life brings us, Jesus is the same. We're just your Methodist to the madness. Methodist to the madness. Hi,
I'm Beth.
I'm Tim.
I'm Jessica, and we're just your everyday
Methodist to the madness.
How's it going, everybody?
Oh,
that was pretty good.
That was some energy that you brought into that.
Yeah, that was really nice. It must have been because of the spring weather, yes?
That sounds like someone who just came back from Orange County.
The oranges and cucumbers were delicious, let me tell you.
We're starting with you today, Jessica.
Oh, this is great.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
perfect. Yeah.
Well, I was going to say maybe I have a lot of energy because I had some plant-based chicken nuggets for dinner, like anyone should have.
Totally agree.
Going plant-based has been really great. That was Amber and I's focus for Lent, was to give up like the most meat. It was like, I think we've only been having like fish on occasion. So a pescatarian plant-based lady party. And
Party.
It's interesting because I got to be honest, we have not been perfect.
What?
It's very difficult.
Dum dum.
But I can say we tried having a little bit of meat one time and I felt so sick. Like,
really?
It wasn't digesting. And like, it's like my body wasn't, anyways. And it's not like it was bad meat. It wasn't bad meat. It was just like my body couldn't digest because I hadn't been eating meat for that long. So anyways, guess I'm just plant-based for the rest of my life now.
That reminds me of when I eat no onions for 5 days and then I decide to eat way too many onions the following day and then I'm sick.
That sounds like something the Grinch would say, Tim.
And that's why the part was 3 sizes too small.
Yes. Which I know that I'm late to the party, but we did go see Pastor Jim over at the Seussical musical yesterday.
Yay!
And somebody with a name that starts with J and ends with Essica was in the musical by default because Pastor Jim raised my hand at the part where this lady's loaded. And it was the auction. So during the auction scene, I had Pastor Jim sitting right next to me, like kneeling in the aisle area.
That is so cool.
And I kind of thought it was going to happen because I saw him out of the corner of my eye and I was like, oh, this isn't good. Something's going to happen. But oh my gosh, it was so good.
I'm so glad.
I'm blown away by the talent, like the vocals, what was the lady? The kangaroo lady.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So good. Everybody in their own way. It was like, man, like, and Horton was so good. Anyways, everybody did such an incredible job. So that's kind of a little update on my side of things. But Tim, Beth, what about you guys?
Wow. Yeah, I guess Beth and I both can segue with this, and then I don't know where it's going to go after that. But we saw Seussical again. Beth was there. We saw it on the same night.
Only see it on Friday nights.
Yeah, it was because of the Young Adult Life Group. Actually, because Jessica graciously gave up her ticket for Beth and another friend. Beth was able to come. And
Beth and
really
Sal was the other friend. Sal.
Sal was the other friend. Oh, okay. Oh, awesome. Very nice.
I was in a Sal and Tim sandwich. Sal on my left, Tim on my right.
A Sal and Tim sandwich.
I got clowns to the left of me, jokers to the right.
Stuck in the middle of you.
Yeah.
But yeah, I got to say that I was really astounded by how much I had missed in the first watch. I guess I was not feeling well or something. And I guess that just happens to me, like some sort of digestive thing. It's like kind of typical on this podcast now. I have some digestive problem that I'm talking about. But yeah, so the first showing, what?
Did you stop eating onions and then eat onions, and that's what happened?
I don't know if it was an onions thing that time. I think it was. Yeah, I'll leave that up to the audience's imagination. What I got sick on.
Okay.
But yeah, so the first showing, I didn't really comprehend a lot of the plot. Like I thought I did in some way, but in reality, because I was more familiar with it this time around, I was just amazed by so many like memorable moments and touching moments, and everybody did just such a fantastic job. Such memorable characters. In fact, the last few days, I've just been like repeating in my head some of my favorite songs, like the Salisaloo and the what was it? Amazing Norton, and there was just so many different songs that I just kept repeating over in my head. And I really liked the love scene between, what was it? Was her name Gertrude?
Yeah,
Gertrude and Norton. That was a really nice song too. Oh my gosh. Like just incredible. Like I wish I could see that whole play again, but they got that strict licensing and everything, and for good reason. Like my gosh, it was just such an incredible performance, and so this has inspired me to kind of like support my local theater, like either Palmdale Playhouse or the Lancaster theaters that are around.
What about Cedar Street Theater? SpongeBob SquarePants is coming up.
Yeah, I'll probably go to that. I'm thinking.
I'm doing the props.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Props to you, Beth.
Props to you.
Props. What?
So
yeah, Beth, I want to check in with you as well.
Great.
Speaking of props.
That wasn't my full check-in, but please, Beth, go.
Denied, Tim. You're denied.
Oh no, the big X.
We want to hear from Beth.
Perfect.
Well, now I don't know what to do. Tim, you finish your update.
Okay. So I wanted to give a quick update on my no caffeine experience. So last episode, I said that I was quitting caffeine completely. I cold turkeyed it. I didn't know what was going to happen. And we were predicting that I might have headaches. There might be suffering. I'm not sure. But what ended up...
Sorry, please continue.
What ended up happening was I actually didn't have that many headaches. I think I had a very mild, like low-key kind of headache for like 2 days. Mm-hmm. But the biggest thing that I noticed was a dramatic reduction in my anxiety. Like I didn't even know that the caffeine was causing that. I just thought I had like an anxious temperament, which I do. And I guess the caffeine was sort of making that way more prominent. And so it's just been an overall positive experience because of having less anxiety. And I've also been noticing my sleep has been improved. The only problem is I'm not through like what could be considered the 2-week mark. So I'm definitely more tired on a daily basis. I'm hoping that will like pass over like the coming week here. So anyway, like I would definitely recommend somebody just decide to quit caffeine if a person feels like they have anxiety problems or they're having sleeping issues, because it's just a very profound like improvement. Like I think you actually have to legitimately quit for a while so that you don't have that chronic like dependence on the caffeine anymore. And then that's when you start noticing the anxiety reduction and sleep improvements. But that's my big update. What?
Disclaimer, Tim is not a doctor, and any changes in your diet should be consulted by a physician.
Thank you, Beth. Thank you for the disclaimer. We're not making health and medical recommendations without the disclaimer first. So that's very good.
Tim is our unofficial doctor for the episode.
I mean, I don't think Dr. Phil's a doctor, so we can call you Dr. Tim.
So the other quick update is I needed to help my mom back up her phone. and that kind of rendered my computer like not really operable in the same way that I would normally use it. So I kind of just didn't really feel like playing games or anything because I didn't want to mess up the backup. The only game that I really felt like I could play without messing up my computer was playing chess on chess.com. And maybe I could have played another simple game or something, but I had a coworker friend. He has a chessboard in his office. And at the end of the day, we just decided to play one game. And after that, I'm just like really like interested in playing chess. And I'm not good at chess at all, but I think it's like a really fun like brain game to play. And it's just kind of like rewarding and really can be catastrophic when you lose, but it kind of teaches you how to win and lose in a friendly manner. You don't feel like burning someone's house down or something like that after the like 10 games because losing is a part of life. Yeah,
that's not what happened in Searching for Bobby Fischer.
Wait, I didn't see that movie, so
you should watch it, Tim. It's really good. Yep.
Oh, okay. Excellent. And then my final 15-second update is I took my dog for a walk after work today, and I just had the funny thought that my dogs are just dogs in general are like little horses, you know? Or you could say little ponies or something.
My Little Ponies. Is there more to that? Did you have more to
No,
say?
not really. No, I just wanted to share that part of the
because there's a John Mulaney bit. He was talking about his babysitter and he was in love with her, but then like when he got older, his mom told him that she was 13 and he was only 10. And he thought that was crazy because he was like, that's like getting a bigger animal to care for a smaller animal. It's like getting a horse to babysit your dog. That's all.
Oh my gosh.
So
Beth, how's your week been?
It's been good. On the subject of Seussical, like Tim, I saw it twice, and my 2 cents on why you understood the storyline better the second time is because when you see it the first time, there's just so much to take in. There's all the bright colors, and you're seeing and noticing everything for the first time. And then when you see it again, you're able to like not be as distracted by all of the sights and the sounds. And anyway,
you're right.
And another thing, the person who played JoJo, when I saw it the first time, I was like, man, JoJo kind of reminds me of Jessica. And then because I think it's because of the whole like you totally look like a little kid if you're wearing overalls and a hat.
That's right. My Oshkosh.
Wow.
Yeah. And then Sal came on Friday and he leaned in and whispered to me, JoJo reminds me of Jessica. Like, yeah, that's what I thought too. So you were in the play in more ways than one.
Yes.
That's so interesting.
And I had both of my kids help for Sunday school on Sunday yesterday, which was nice. And I totally forgot that it was St. Patrick's Day, but I still managed to show up with a green dress anyway. And then Craig dropped off the kids because we had choir that morning. And I had gone into, I don't remember where I was, but I told Craig to just send the kids to my office because I wasn't in there. And then when I got to my office, Owen was wearing like a green long sleeve shirt and Jonah was wearing like green sweatpants. And I was like, okay, so they too remembered it was St. Patrick's Day. I talked to them later. They also forgot, but they just both happened to be wearing green. And
that's amazing.
Owen was fast to like notice that Pastor John wasn't wearing green. And like he literally like chased him down so he could pinch him. So those are the people I'm raising. And today I built one of my planters for my vegetable garden that I'm growing. And
Awesome.
and now I'm gonna show you something visual, even though this is a podcast.
This is exciting.
Beth has walked away.
She's gonna show us one of her planters that she made.
She's back. She's not wearing green right now, by the way.
Am I not wearing green?
Oh wait, no, she's wearing green. Never mind.
But also it's not St. Patrick's Day anymore. So
that's right.
These are the beans, the really tall ones. And that's why I need to hurry up and get
replant
going. And then we've got peas. And some of these, like, look at the little celery. How cute is the little celery?
Wow.
This is very exciting.
So for our audience, just imagine everything that Beth just said. The tall plants, the little celery, you name it.
Her beans were about a foot tall, is what I want to say. Do you think they were like 6, maybe 8 to 12 inches?
Yeah, I think I got some of Jack's beans. I think it's going to be a beanstalk and magic beans.
That's very possible.
For some reason, I was thinking about a cartoon that I can't think of the name of, where they have like really tall beanstalks, like 6 to 8 feet or something. Maybe that's what you're growing, Beth.
Was it James and the Giant Beanstalk?
Well, speaking of beanstalks, Beth,
speaking of
hold on, I want to see if Beth has anything else that's going on other than you're becoming a modern day Martha Stewart.
Yeah, I watched the musical version of Waitress, half of it yesterday and half of it today. They made a movie in 2007 called Waitress with Kerry Russell and Nathan Fillion in it. And then several years later, Sarah Bareilles wrote the music for it.
Oh.
And it's been on Broadway. I'm pretty sure it's been to the Pantages, and I want to go see it. And they put out a movie version of it, and it was really good. And I love that I watched it before even knowing what Pastor John's sermon was going to be about. And that's all I have.
Well, that's exciting. You guys have some pretty good updates.
Yeah, same for you, Jessica.
Yeah.
Well, I do want to mention, I did see one of our fans at the Seussical. None other than Kirsten and Nils. So
if you were going to say Kathy Ankeny, I was going to be like,
how did that happen?
Okay.
So it was really exciting to see both of them.
Yeah.
And I saw Nils getting a picture with the whole cast.
Yay.
So basically Nils was in Seussical.
Yeah. For sure.
Yeah. Yeah. But
that's wonderful.
Speaking of whatever I just said, because I have no segue into this.
That is the segue. No segue.
Tim was talking about how you have a really good memory earlier. So
yeah, it's so good I don't remember.
It's always a good memory bounces between not remembering things and remembering things exceptionally. So
yeah, I remember the things that normal people would not remember, like your childhood phone number or random stuff like that. Anyways, so things that are happening in the church, everyone to be aware of, just continuous reminders. Grief Share is on March 14th from 6 to 8 in the Fireside Room. That's 6 to 8 p.m. in the Fireside Room. That should have already happened because it's currently March 18th. I do want to say it was great to see the Scouts on Sunday. The Scouts were recognized on Sunday during the 11 o'clock service.
That was nice.
Yeah. On March 21st, Bob McDaniel's memorial is at 10 a.m. So for those that want to remember and celebrate the life of Bob McDaniel. That's going to be at 10 a.m. at the church, March 21st. And then there's going to be a senior luncheon at 11:30 in the social hall to follow. Let me see here. We've also got calling all vendors. So quilters, yarn wizards, bakers, and makers. PUMC is looking for vendors of handmade items for the Spring Boutique. That's going to be on Sunday, May 5th, Cinco de Mayo.
There will be margaritas.
Burritos?
Beth will be making burritos and margaritas. You can contact Beth at children@pumchurch.com for more information. So very exciting. The Spring Boutique. If anybody remembers, we had a fall boutique during our boutique during the Halloween timeframe. So that's very, very exciting.
Yeah.
Lastly, I did want to mention very briefly, the women's retreat is quickly approaching, and that leads us into our Beth's ministry moment. So Beth, I'm going to let you take over.
Yay!
Jessica. Well, first on the subject of the women's ministry, I just wanted to add in that we are currently accepting magazine donations for women's retreat for one of the projects we're going to do there. So if you have any magazines, you can donate them to the church office, or give them to me or Lori Shaw. Speaking of Lori Shaw, she's our guest today, and she's here to talk to us a little bit more about the women's retreat.
Yay! Thank you for joining us, Lori.
Oh, thank you for having me. This is a very, very fun evening here listening to you folks.
Thanks.
It's almost as if I can hear you just down the block, Lori.
Almost. Sometimes I see you walk by.
Yes. For those
I usually have my hands in something.
Yeah. Lori and I live pretty close to one another. She's on Amber and I's walking path in Leona Valley. So basically,
very nice.
Lori and I are related. That's basically what that means.
Yes.
Kind of like blood relatives, except like vicinity relatives or something. I don't know.
Yeah. So, Lori, when is the women's retreat?
The women's retreat is coming up in April. It's Friday, April 26th through Sunday, April 28th. Although we do have two options for people to come. You can come the 26th, Friday night, for dinner and stay through Sunday about noon. And that's one option at $165 for the weekend. We also have some ladies that can't make the whole weekend, and there are a group that are coming up on Saturday. That would be from breakfast through the evening activities. That's a cost of $55 per person. And that way then the women that can't make the whole weekend can still come and join in on the whole day portion of it. Mm-hmm. It's a great opportunity for women just to get together and be women.
Yeah.
We all love our families. We love our jobs. We love our husbands and children's and wives and pets. And those are all very important to us. But sometimes it's nice just to get away from all our responsibilities, all our worries, and, whatever else is going on, and just focus on fellowship with other women, on worshiping God, having fun together, and doing it all in this beautiful setting. Camp Wrightwood is quite beautiful, I hear. I've been up to Wrightwood itself, but I haven't been actually to Camp Wrightwood. But I hear that it's gorgeous. It's not, like a resort or anything like that. It's, it's a church camp. Yeah. So don't expect, turn down service and mints on your pillow, but it should be it should be comfortable sleeping, and it should be a wonderful, wonderful time together. We've got our speaker, Angela Doyle, and she is a very dynamic speaker. She's a natural leader, and she's charismatic, and she has good things to say.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome.
I think she will be a really good addition to this. And then, of course, we've got Deborah Reddish, who is a very talented musician, to guide us in the music, singing, listening. It should be a wonderful, wonderful time. It's been years since before the pandemic.
Literally, yeah.
We have had the women's retreat, and there was a call out for, wanting to do this. There were a lot of people that were missing the retreat, and I have not been involved in planning the women's retreat before.
Me neither.
But Beth and I stepped up and said, okay, we'll help out.
All right.
So there we are. And I think it's exciting. I think there are a bunch of women coming in that it should be a really good time. It's a time when you can make new friends or deepen old friendships. Mm-hmm. We talk about fun things. We talk about deep philosophical and religious and emotional things. We always have lots of boxes of Kleenex.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, there's always crying. But there's always laughter.
Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah.
Aubrey Yepes was the one who invited me to my first women's retreat. And I think at my first women's retreat, she made it so I could be at the same table as her. And that was nice. And then I met so many fun people that I didn't know before. And they've become like some of my lifelong friends. And so I was really excited to go to next year's table so I could like sit with my friends that I had just made. And I didn't get to sit at their tables. So as I was trying not to be bitter about it, I realized I didn't have to be, because I ended up having a lovely time with the ladies that I was with at my designated table for the retreat. So even if it doesn't go the way you think it should, I guarantee you'll still get a lot out of it if you let yourself. I could have just decided to be miserable and grumpy the whole time, but it turns out I didn't have to be. I still had a really good time with the ladies that I was sitting with.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
So I'm curious, for those that might go just for Saturday, is there a time frame? Like, when should people show up? When do people leave? Will they be forced to leave by large standing individuals carrying them out of the room?
Yes, we will definitely have that. If that's what you want.
Yeah. I mean, only upon request.
Yes. In addition to the mints on the pillow, that is for additional charge.
Right.
Yep.
Well, Saturday we're planning on having breakfast at 8.
Okay.
And then they can show up. They can, probably show up as early as 7:30. Although, I don't know if anybody's going to be up early before breakfast or not. But but they can show up at about 8 o'clock when we'll have breakfast, and it'll be I have no idea what it's going to be, because Angie's still working on the plan for what's going on, but there'll be breakfast in the morning, and then after that there'll be a time for worship and gathering. She'll talk about something, we'll talk about it. There'll be some sort of activities to do. We'll have some lunch. we may have some free time after that, or she may go into another session. I'm not sure what she wants, but it'll be thought-provoking. It'll be it'll be really, I don't know how to describe it. I am
magical.
Yes, magical, like a magical retreat.
Yes. Yes. I am a shy person. I am very introverted. And it was hard for me the first time that I went.
Yeah.
It was very hard because I don't like meeting new people.
I don't
like talking to people, especially strangers.
Yeah.
Hard enough talking to people I know.
I don't understand how I know anybody, Lori.
Exactly.
People I don't know.
It's just so interesting because Lori, I didn't think that you were like introverted like that at all, and same with you, Beth. Like you guys, both of you are very like personable and friendly. What?
I think we're good at pretending.
Well, I think what it is that we're also compassionate people.
Oh, yeah.
And we don't want other people to feel like they can't join in.
Right.
We go kind of out of our way to make sure that people feel included and warm and fuzzy.
Yeah.
That's true. I would feel terrible if I thought I was making somebody at my table feel unwelcome.
Right. Me too.
That would ruin my weekend if somebody thought I wasn't being welcoming to them.
Right.
So would that mean that you both are more of like a Martha?
Yes.
I was thinking about that. Is that a segue into
Wait, what? Oh, yeah.
Definitely more of a Martha than a Mary.
Yeah.
My family are pretty much all caretakers.
Yeah.
And it's not that I get, distracted and worried by the things that need to get done. It's just that I know that things need to get done, and it gives someone else the opportunity to sit, like Mary, at the feet of Jesus.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel more called to, make sure that there is a meal, for people when they're hungry. Because I know that at some point they're going to get hungry. But Mary's younger, and for her, this is something special. She gets to sit at the feet of Jesus. And if I can offer that to her, then I want to do that.
So I'm going to be sitting next to Lori at the women's retreat.
You're not bitter that you had to do all the work and Mary's just chatting up Jesus the whole time? With that, Lori?
Well, I think
I'm just curious. There's no judgment, even though it sounds like there is.
Well, I think it would depend. Did Mary tell me that she was going to help and then didn't?
Oh, good point.
Oh,
but
it's interesting.
I don't think that I would go to Jesus and say, "Hey, tell my sister that she has to help me." I think I would go to Mary and say, "Hey."
Like, I'm not your mother. I'm your mother. No.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah, those are wonderful insights, Lori. And that's really inspirational to me because I have a tendency to have a hard time like being motivated to do chores and things like that after I worked all day. So like if I think about it from the mindset of like in the case of Martha, like taking care of like her family. And so by my doing things that go out of my comfort zone and out of what I would want to do necessarily, then I'm helping someone else like take care of themselves. And that's just like a really beautiful, like great thing that we can participate in. So yeah, I'm really glad you mentioned that. I didn't take that away from the sermon. So that was awesome insight.
Yeah. For those that don't know, we are in sermon feedback.
That segue was seamless. We didn't even.
Yeah, that was like one of the most seamless segues ever.
That was the best. Lori, are you okay to stick around for a little bit longer as we continue talking about the sermon?
Well, speaking of Martha and taking care of her family, I have a couple of guys that would truthfully feed themselves, but there wouldn't be any vegetables involved.
Oh no!
You know, and
feed them vegetables, Lori.
And yes, they are both grown men. I mean, one's 93, so he can probably, but they will eat them if they're offered, but if they're left to their own devices, it just won't happen.
Gotcha.
Right.
Well, I feel like you were able to at least contribute a little bit for the sermon before we went into the official sermon feedback. So I appreciate you sharing that.
That was awesome that you shared that, Lori. I think you really set us up for success as far as providing something comprehensible for the audience. So thank you.
Yeah, I'm glad I could contribute. Thank you so much for having me. And don't forget to bug Beth about details for the women's retreat, because she's got them all.
Yes, absolutely. We will bug Beth about all of those things and more.
All right. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you so much, Lori. Really appreciate you joining us. It's very nice.
Bye.
Right. Bye.
All right, bye.
So
that was our first guest,
Lori,
who was had some important thing they needed to do, and they exited our podcast either before the sermon feedback or in the sermon feedback. So I don't know if that's something we should celebrate or.
I think it's great that
I think it's good.
Lori's going to feed people on the topic of
feeding
what we talked about on Sunday.
So it was it's the most opportune.
It was the perfect moment.
Wow.
Yeah. Martha just being a Martha.
Wow.
And the thing is,
Martha,
as Barbara Brown Taylor, we got Barbie back in the house for this week's sermon.
Yeah.
She said Martha was an introvert. So it is confirmed because Lori is also an introvert. So it still stands the test of time there. This past Sunday, as we've kind of mentioned a little bit, we dove into Luke chapter 10, verses 38 through 42. It was the 5th week of our sermon series, Eating with Jesus. And this past Sunday, Pastor John spoke on a distracted meal. And we discussed the difference with Mary and Martha. And, there's just certain things where one thing that was mentioned was when you're depending on something that's alive, it can't be completely controlled. It's not something you can control, but you can kind of guide it in the direction that you want. That was a quote that I thought was pretty neat.
Wow.
Yeah.
But I'm curious what both of your takeaways were from this past Sunday. Anything that spoke to you?
Well,
go, Beth. You got
it. Go, Tim, go.
All right, I'll go. No.
Okay, I'll do it. Just kidding. Okay, go, Tim.
Okay, I'll go.
Okay.
No, really, for sure this time. I'll go.
Okay. No, wait, I'm right. Okay, just kidding.
So, what stood out to me right away was all the different roles that we play in life. Like in the case of Martha, she was playing the role of taking care of her family and just performing all of the work associated with that. And I view it as she was showing love in that way, and that's really honorable. And then we have other roles that we play in life. So I guess going to our own modern experience here, we go to work and we have to do our jobs and so forth. So we have our work roles, and then we come home and then we have our family roles. And then if we've taken care of both of those things, or maybe somewhere in between, we have our own kind of personal roles that we take care of ourselves. And so when we focus on all of this, it's we can find balance. And so maybe Martha's way of taking care of her family and being spiritual was by being in that position that she was in. And then I was also thinking that sometimes our expectations may be not aligned with what it is that we're actually doing in that particular role. So both of you can help me with this. Martha was saying something to Jesus about how Mary was not helping her in the kitchen. Is that like a big part of the scripture there?
I'm going to look it up real quick for you.
Okay, thank you. I think that's what it was, but yeah, if you could look it up, that'd be awesome. Yeah, so basically, maybe Martha was like sort of uncomfortable a little bit with the fact that Mary was seeking like guidance from Jesus while she was in the kitchen. And so maybe she was feeling like her expectations weren't being met regarding Jesus's visit or regarding Mary's behavior or something along those lines. And so I think it's really interesting because I've had in my life expectations that were misaligned with whatever role I was playing at the time. Like, for example, I might be at work and I wish that I was at home, like playing a video game or something like that. Or I might be taking my dogs for a walk, but I don't necessarily want to do that. I want to read a book or something. Or so all these different things like come up. And so I think if like speaking for myself, like if I were to align my expectations with the role that I'm playing at a particular time, then I'll feel a lot more comfortable with things. And then, of course, the other thing I was thinking was how Pastor John was saying how when he was in, I think he said it was seminary school, there was, he learned action, reflection, action. And I thought that was really therapeutic for me because there are times when I'm like able to act like no problem, but then I don't really know what to do next. So if I was to like reflect during that time, then I think that would help me a lot. And maybe I could pray to God, or I could just sort of be there in silence. And that time with the whole like not having my computer operating normally this weekend was sort of like a period of reflection because I couldn't just like tune into anything that I would normally tune into on my computer. So yeah.
Tim, the scripture says in verse 40, I'll just read 40 through 42. It says,
thank you.
But Martha was distracted by her many tasks. So she came to him and asked, Lord, do you not care that my sister has left me to do all the work by myself? Tell her then to help me. But the Lord answered her, Martha, Martha, you are worried and distracted by many things. There is need of only one thing. Mary has chosen the better part, which will not be taken away from her. And I'll just briefly say, is this where they got Marsha from?
I was thinking that too, Jessica.
What? Wait, huh?
The Brady Bunch. Tim, do you know the Brady Bunch?
No, not really.
Oh my gosh. This is a crisis.
It's a crisis.
Okay. All right. Well, I will say the Brady Bunch movie is actually like really good. So you can start. You don't
Can
have
I go
to
in with no prior experience with the Brady Bunch, or
I'd say so. You'd get
Nice.
you'd understand each individual character on their own through the movie.
It's not like trying to watch Dune 2 if you haven't watched the first Dune.
Right. Yes.
Yeah, it's probably not as long either. Like Dune 2.
No, it's not. It's not.
Absolutely not.
Nope.
They did not have a budget for that back in the day. You know, one thing I did realize, and Pastor John mentioned this as well, how there are some people who have a gift where they can just get things done.
Mm-hmm.
And
yes,
with a little procrastination and I don't know what the word would be, procrastination and
procrastination and
adrenaline.
I like adrenaline better, but a panic. Yeah.
Panic. That's a good one too. I can get a lot of things done.
Me too. Yep.
With all of those combined. And sometimes that's why we have guests over, because then I go, we have a deadline. We have to clean the house. Like,
Yep.
you know, and
That's amazing.
by we, I mean by I, because Amber is one of those people where like she can just get things done. And I don't know how she charges her body, because she definitely plugs herself in at night, because she's a teacher during the day, right? And with 1 billion children in a classroom, she has half of the kids in one grade, half of the kids are in another grade. And I mean, it's just, I don't know how she can still be afloat by the end of the day. Obviously, there's some days that are better than others, but like when she'll come home, it's like she'll want to do the dishes, and she'll like, she has all these things that, you know,
Wow.
she'll just continue. She doesn't stop. And I'm like, how does she do this?
Yeah, really.
And I'm thinking
know.
it's because she does not have ADHD. But no, it's, you know, it's interesting. She's definitely one of those like Marthas of the world that just takes care of everybody. And she's just naturally, she's a really good listener. And I'm just little old Mary hanging out, just like in my own world, listening to God, like just lollygagging. I'm basically just, if Jesus were a puppy dog, that's what I would have been in that picture from the sermon, where I'm just talking with our animals while Amber, Martha, is out and about taking care of business.
Wow.
Basically how I feel sometimes.
I don't have parties a lot at my house. I used to, maybe like once a year, which was a lot for me.
Mm-hmm.
It turns out I don't like hosting things. I just
yeah, me too.
like, and you know, you have that panic. I mean, adrenaline to clean up the house and get everything ready, and then all the guests arrive, and I have a really, really hard time bringing myself back down from that. Like even when people are like, no, sit, let me get this. Like, I'll sit down, but I still have that adrenaline going, and like, it doesn't go away until everybody leaves.
Right.
And sometimes I'm like, you know, I should have another party again. But then I remember what parties actually are when they come to my house. And I think it takes more out of me than I would like it to. And that's why I don't do it so much anymore. And that's the one thing I'm not denying, that Martha is an introvert, because Lori is also an introvert and could relate. But I could not relate to that type of introversion. Like, the last thing I want to do is be one-on-one with somebody I don't know and like help them make their lamb chops or whatever. But I don't know why I'm going to parties that are hosted by people I don't know. But I don't think that I am. But sometimes I will be that person to help. But also there are people that are really good at just anticipating what you might need. Like, okay, she's going to do this, so I'll help her do this. I am not that person who's good at anticipating other people's needs. I love it when people do that for me, but it just, my brain can't do that.
Yeah, I can relate to that.
But also, the Martha and Mary thing really made me think of my boys. Like, whenever it was time for us to clean together as a family, 9 times out of 10, that's when Owen has to go to the bathroom. And then he's in there a while. He's not talking to God, but
maybe he is.
Maybe he is. But did we think that maybe Mary is just trying to get out of doing all the work a little bit? I mean, sure, we can say it's because she wanted to, you know, enjoy Jesus's company all day long, but maybe she really didn't want to make that bread with Martha, because Martha's so bossy and Mary can never do anything right.
Wow. Interesting.
Yeah. Just kidding. But
No, but I love the unspoken and potential truths behind maybe what could have happened. Who knows? I mean, I think that's like the mystery with scripture is that we're only getting a piece of what's happening. And maybe it's spoken to us through parables, and then we have to fill in the blank. Well, let me tell you, if we're in charge of filling in the blanks, we're blanking it. So
yeah, actually that's a really inspirational thing for me because I don't always read in between the lines very much. When I read scripture, I tend to think of it with like
literally
no, not literally necessarily. I mean, it sort of what is it? I go in with as much faith as I can, and then try to think of it from like a self-improvement angle. Like, how can this story with Jesus or what the apostles were saying can help me in my life, and how can it help me have more creativity regarding like my treatment of people or my treatment of myself, or like heighten my spirituality or something like that. So it's really like refreshing that both of you are looking at the Martha and Mary story from like all these different like angles about how the story was playing out. That's awesome.
Yeah. Well, that's all Beth. Beth is the awesome one here.
Who just goes on weird rants for no reason at all. I was watching a stand-up comedy special today. It was Rory Scovel. I don't know if anyone's heard of him. I'm not sure he's my favorite stand-up comedian style, but there were some things that were amusing to me. He was talking about the Bible and all the letters that, Matthew and John wrote. And he also said he wasn't sure if it was Matthew who wrote in Ephesians or not, but he was talking about how the people of Ephesia were probably like, what? It's another letter from Matthew again. And that just made me laugh. The idea of the Ephesians just being so annoyed by all of these letters from Matthew. He didn't even write Ephesians.
Yeah. You know what? That just made me think, what if, because Pastor Jim has such a creative, storytelling, I don't know what the word is. He's just because he has like a, what's it called? I can't. Thank you so much, Tim. Thank you so much. A theater background. It makes me wonder, what if he wrote like every week, or like maybe once a month? Once a month would be good. So Pastor Jim, if you're listening, just once a month is fine. A letter to PUMC from a certain character from the Bible.
Oh yeah.
You know how funny, and it would be like from.
That'd be so cool.
From Jim chapter 1, or like just like PUMC. Yeah. How interesting. Yeah.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
That is so, that's really fascinating.
Greetings and salutations.
He should start with Reuben, because that was his character in Joseph and the Amazing Technicolor Dreamcoat.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Ooh, very nice.
Very nice.
And then maybe he can do a letter from the mayor of Whoville.
And the letter from I can't remember his character's name, but
from Bye Bye.
Yeah, he was the girl's dad in Bye Bye Birdie.
Yeah.
Send a letter as that character, and it'd probably just be like, kids, what the devil is up with these kids these days?
It'd be interesting, just to kind of get that interesting perspective.
Did he didn't write a letter in Seussical, did he? Just JoJo wrote a letter to them?
I think so.
Yeah.
I think that might have been what it was.
Maybe we need to know what his response was.
Oh, yeah.
We did get a response. I'm stuck on a pebble of dust.
No, you got to hold your nose, Jessica, like this.
Oh, goodness.
I love
think
it.
we did it. I think we expected another one of.
Yeah, actually, speaking of holding your nose, I really do have to congratulate Pastor Jim again for such a phenomenal performance on Seussical.
Oh, yeah.
And like the fact that he was able to like speak so fluently and with so much energy, despite the fact that his nose was being held the entire time.
Yeah.
Which is very fascinating. And awesome.
It was all in a different language too, and I can't believe I was able to interpret that. You know,
so
I'm really just.
I just need to like bring this up because it's been blowing my mind since the first time I saw Seussical.
Holding your nose?
No. By the way, Tim, it's Horton and not Norton. Anyway, so Horton and all the other animals and whatnot were on planet Earth where we live, right?
I believe, yeah.
And then Whoville is a planet that's
in the speck.
A speck of dust.
Yeah.
And that is where the Who's live, and that is where the Grinch also lives. And I just never put it together that the Grinch is not even a part of Earth's lore. It's part of Whoville's lore. And he's, well, I don't even know what the Grinch is other than a Grinch, but he's not born on Earth, that's for sure.
You know, based off of what we've read and seen on TV, he's about the same size as a lot of them. So
yeah.
Right.
I didn't realize how small the Grinch was, which means his dog was even smaller.
It's interesting because then was Max basically a Chihuahua then?
Technically, like smaller than a teacup Chihuahua, like
an ant,
a thimble Chihuahua.
And that's where we got the story of Thumbelina.
She was also from Whoville.
Yeah.
So yeah, my mind was kind of blown by that because I never put that together before.
I didn't either. And that would also mean that the Lorax is the Lorax in the world of Whoville, or is it in the world of Horton?
I can't remember.
That's something I was thinking about. I was like, wait a minute, because those are the tree type things that the Lorax, but they were like taller. So it makes me wonder, were they in between the worlds of Whoville and Horton?
Let's look it up. Let's look up ye old mighty Google. That's not what the site is called.
This is just astounding. All these things we didn't put together until we saw Seussical.
Yeah.
My gosh.
We might have to bring in a specialist next week on
We're calling anybody who knows Dr. Seuss like the back of their hand. Come join us as a guest on our podcast.
There's like a whole there's a subreddit on Reddit called Fan Theories, and somebody wrote, I'm not gonna go into the whole thing, but I'm gonna read it later. But someone said that they connected the entire Dr. Seuss cinematic universe. Every time we talk about Whoville, I want to call them Whovians because I'm also watching Doctor Who with my mom right now.
Oh, that's neat.
Show that we watch. So,
I thought that was the Cat in the Hat. He was Doctor Who.
Oh, yes.
But the Cat in the Hat was part of Horton's world.
Yes, that's what I thought, which meant that JoJo was also part of Horton's world, but JoJo went into the story of Whoville. So that was confusing to me also.
It was confusing that JoJo didn't have a who knows when his parents had.
Oh, yeah. Wait, what?
And
he didn't have one.
You know what? I decided that's because it was part of the story that the Cat in the Hat and JoJo made up, maybe to explain why he felt so different from everybody, because he's always thinking those things.
Oh, yeah. That is really interesting. That like spins it all the way around. Like not even just what we did the first spin, but this is like the twirling spin, like a ballerina kind of spin or something.
Yeah,
exactly. Thumbelina. That's what I'm saying, guys. It's been there the whole time.
Thumbelina.
Well, we'll have to maybe look into this and report back for next week's podcast, because I'm sure there are a lot of people who are on the edge of their seat just trying to, they've officially like turned off the vacuum, or they've pulled over on the side of the road to figure out where are they going with this. And the answer is, we don't know where we're going with this. Again, we're just filling in the blanks here, right? That's what we're doing.
Yes. Yes, indeed. We're answering the questions that
we're asking
we have.
Questions.
Yes,
people were too afraid to ask.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Well, the real truth here.
Yeah.
The real truth.
Well, speaking of the real truth and nothing I think now is the time for some truthful prayer requests.
Yes, so, it sounds like the time.
Tim, do you want to start us off with your prayer requests?
Sure. So first, I would like to pray for Lori and all the women at the women's retreat. I would really like it if they would have a blessed time spending time with Jesus and spending time in fellowship. And I just hope everybody has a very memorable time out there at Camp Brightwood, and that maybe have some life-changing experiences.
We're going to have ladyship and not fellowship, though.
Oh, ladyship. Oh, very nice.
Please continue.
Awesome. And a prayer request for myself. I think kind of following from my sermon feedback, maybe just trying to find that sort of alignment between my roles and my actions, basically. And if I ever find myself in a state of confusion or don't know how to act best for my next action, maybe take that time for reflection. I think that would really help me if I was to actually align my actions with my roles and not wish that I'm somewhere else, or not wish that somebody else is somewhere else with me or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So a prayer for me to just kind of like follow that train of thought and basically make it so my behavior reflects that. I think that would be just really valuable for my life.
Yeah. I mean, worst case scenario, Tim, Hawaiian sweet rolls are the best rolls.
Yes, they are.
So
Jonah doesn't like them.
That's excellent. I'm really glad to know that. In fact, I might have to go pick some up after we're done recording.
Beth, what about you? Did you just say that Jonah doesn't like those?
He does not.
What?
Oh my God.
Whoa.
He spent some of his early years not liking Reese's peanut butter cups also because he thought they were too salty. He's come around to Reese's peanut butter cups, but he's still not a fan of the Hawaiian bread. And I'd say like we'll work on it, but in the grand scheme of things, I don't even care whether he eats them or not.
Yeah. Yeah.
It is what it is. If you want to pray for Jonah and hope that he likes Hawaiian rolls, have at it. But I'm not
praying for him.
Yes, we'll be praying for him on that.
Thank you. And that's my prayer request, that other people pray for Jonah. I have been, well, I always have a really hard time balancing like the different areas in my life, like my work life, my home life, my free time, and just the stuff that I'm trying to do. And so I have started several projects at home. And I don't know how your guys' ADHD works, but I know that when the hyper focus hits, I need to use it all up before it goes away and I run out of energy, because it will go away and I will run out of energy. And so
right.
I've been able to get some of my projects done, but then I'll have to stop working on it because like the next day Jonah has a lot of stuff at school, or I have to do stuff for work, and or because I did so much stuff the previous day, like I don't have any energy to do it the next day. And
right.
so I started I was on such a cleaning kick last week that Jonah came downstairs and was like, "Wait, we're not having people over, are we?"
Oh my gosh.
I was like, "No, I just want a clean house." So what happens is I'll get one area of the house cleaned, and then I'll be like, I'll work on the next area later. And then I do, but then I have to go get the kids and it never gets done. And anyway, so I would just like prayers to have the energy get the stuff that I want to get done, instead of just half doing things and then nothing gets done. I spent a lot of time trying to clean out our backyard because that's gotten pretty bad lately. And I need to get these mutant plants into my planters and build the planters. So I'm just hoping that I can get everything done before everything dies. And I think by everything, I just mean the plants, but I'd like to.
Oh, yeah.
So just prayers for my own, prayers that I can find the Martha within me.
That's awesome. Yeah.
And not the lollygagging Mary who talking to Jesus is more important. But I also need those moments too. Help me find the balance. Thank you.
I love that.
Yeah.
Jessica?
It's wonderful. Yeah, Jessica.
I was going to, Beth, I'm feeling the same way because, when I get home from work, I know that I need to try to find a way to do something for me, but I also want to spend time with Amber and all of our chickens and all of our, just everything. It's like I want to put all of my attention everywhere.
Right.
And it's hard. And so one thing that I'm really trying to do is, when I'm done with my work day, I'm trying to do like two things at once. One is, the two things I'm trying to take care of is one, time for me to like, kind of transition into life rather than work mode.
Right.
But then two, spending time with Amber. And so what we're doing is like today we went to the gym, and even like, it was just like 30 minutes we were there.
Nice.
Awesome.
Just to get some time together and to just also do something for ourselves. And it felt really good. And we want to be able to continue doing that because we used to do stuff like that. Like we used to go climbing all the time. Like when we lived closer to the LA area and lived in the North Hollywood area, we would go to a climbing gym almost every weekend. And so we would, just grab our gear and head to the gym and belay one another. And it was really awesome. For those that don't know, do you know what belaying is?
I assume it's when you hook each other up to the ropes and stuff with the clips.
Whoa.
Yeah. So one person is down on the mat and they're like on belay, and that means that they've got the person that's about to climb, and then that person is supposed to say, climbing, and that means the person who's the belayer has a tight grip. They want to make sure that they're not going to drop their
They're
partner.
like a spotter kind of, but
they're holding the person's
stakes are
life
higher because their lives is literally in your hands.
Literally, yeah.
I don't know why, Jessica, when you said undulay, I was thinking about horses and a carriage.
I would too, but I said belay. Belay. B-L-E-B-L-B. I can't spell. B-I-N-G-O.
Bingo.
Belay is B-E-L-A-Y. So,
perfect.
Anyways, that's something that I would love to be able to do. And maybe we'll take a trip to Santa Clarita, but I don't know what kind of stuff they've got over there, like lead climbing, or if it's just one of their ropes that you just kind of climb up and then it retracts down, or if it's bouldering. But anyways, that's stuff we love too. We hope maybe we can do that. But but I think, that's something I just pray that I can continue to also find the balance, because
it's so hard.
I know.
I don't know what
it's really hard. Oh my gosh.
I even have like a balance board, and I,
like a scale?
It's like a boogie board. It's like a wooden boogie board, and then it has like a
does it look like a planet kind of? No, it doesn't.
No.
Wait,
have a different one. It's like flat on top, but like bouncy material on the bottom, kind of.
No, it's got like an actual roller underneath it.
Oh.
So then you stand on top of it and you have to like balance yourself on it.
Oh, that's really neat.
Oh, yeah.
I love those.
For some, it can be potentially life-threatening.
What?
That's kind of like a trampoline, except you're standing instead of jumping.
It's it's an actual like balance board type thing, where it's like this wooden board that has sandpaper on top, like a skateboard, and then underneath is like, it's not attached, but it's like a roller, almost like when you want to roll out like a sore muscle, you have those rollers.
Yes.
They're like maybe 2.5 feet long, 3 inches in diameter or something like that, 4 inches in diameter.
Oh.
And it's like you put that underneath the balance board.
Right.
And you have to balance yourself on as the roller is moving.
Right. That's super neat.
Yeah. Anyways, that's how Beth and I are trying to deal with balancing our lives, basically.
Right. Well,
I'm hard to balance our lives, let alone literally balance our bodies. That's
correct.
That's
right.
In the
Yes.
Yeah, I'm in the same boat. So I guess we're all in the balancing boat. Like something about a boat balancing in the water.
Yeah, we're all in the same boat with no paddles. That's basically where we're at.
So I guess I maybe, but somehow with politeness, include myself in the prayer of be kind of like Martha, and maybe we could all get our paddles and be ready for next week. Somehow we found our paddles and all that venturing out in the boat.
Maybe Mary already found her paddle and she already went out and came back and she's resting.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I think
Maybe
so.
That's what Mary was doing, and Martha hasn't proven herself. So Jesus was like,
oh, interesting.
She's fine, lady.
Yeah.
But being so distracted and paddle out to the deep sea.
Martha. Do you think Martha was a little annoyed when Jesus was like, Martha, Martha? Do you think he said it condescendingly, or was that just my interpretation?
Unfortunately, I envisioned the Grinch saying, "Oh, Martha." that's where my head went. I was very distracted at that point.
So neither. Oh, we haven't been this squirrely in a long time.
I know, man. We got to get out of here.
I think there's a squirrel.
Thanks for listening
in this podcast. Yeah. Thank you for listening, everyone.
Well, we'll see you next week, unless we're stuck out in the middle of nowhere in our boat.
Yeah, we hadn't found our paddle, so
hopefully you got something out of this podcast, because I've forgotten everything we've said.
Hey, this is next episode is going to be a special podcast because Palm Sunday is next Sunday, so we'll have an extra special episode recording content here for all of you.
Yeah. So
let's
bring
put on our own passion play next week.
Yes.
Yeah.
That sounds perfect.
All right.
We'll see you guys next week. Thanks for joining.
Ta-ta.
From different places, we all have different names. No matter what life brings us, Jesus is the same. We're just your Methodist to the madness. Methodist to the madness.